Welcome to this edition of Bury Your Bookie. I'm Jeff DeForest. Very happy to have you guys along for the ride. Just was looking up the results from our bold predictions on the program here yesterday. Mike Jones joins us every Monday and Thursday. The guy is really deeply involved when it comes to baseball. He gave out 4 games on the show yesterday. I happen to know the results of the first 3 as I was getting ready to do the program here this morning, and I knew that the Marlins went down. The Cubs went down in game 1 of the doubleheader. The second game was postponed, maybe staving off any kind of self-destruction that Mike might have been tempted to do to himself after watching the results of these games. And the Padres, they get, I don't know. I mean, you can never say what would happen, a subsequent series of events once something takes place. A lot of people speculate, oh, well, you know what, if that touchdown had been allowed, the whole thing would have, you don't know. You don't know what would have happened had the dynamic of the game changed. But in the Padres' case, they end up losing 4-3, and they had Xander Bogaerts hits what appears to be a home run, originally called a home run, and it was waved off and ruled an out from fan interference. Some guy leaned over, and I don't know if the ball actually clipped the guy's arm. It was very difficult to decipher on the video that I saw, but apparently the people in New York that make these decisions on the instant replay clearly thought that the fan had interfered with the Bogaerts home run in a game where, if you're wagering on this thing, you end up going down with the Padres, as did Mike Jones. And fortunately, the 1 of 4 games that he prevailed in, staving off the very negative 0-4 in any kind of handicapping program. I mean, it never looks good to go 0-4. My buddy Hank Goldberg used to go 0-5 some weeks on ESPN. He had that one big season. May he rest in peace. Was a great guy. But you may remember him doing the NFL handicapping. He'd pick 5 games against the spread every week, and often it didn't go so well. I don't know how many times he got swept, but Mike nearly did it yesterday. And Hank used to kind of shrug it off, and then he'd go on a local radio show and say, well, you know what, I gave out 5 losers on ESPN, but I won money. You're asking yourself, what kind of integrity do you have when you're burying your adoring public and following, and then claiming that you made money on your own? It's not necessarily a favorable stance to take there in terms of endearing your fan base to your code of ethics when it comes to degenerate gambling. So yeah, we all lost along with you yesterday, as Mike went an unfortunate 1-3 on the Major League Baseball slate. A lot of stuff to get into here. I don't know about you. I took a shot, and are you particular about where you buy your lottery tickets? I had a couple of numbers, but nothing of any significance. Essentially, threw $10 to the win there, and where my limit used to be 20 on these expenditures, and you only play like it wouldn't be good enough to win, say, $35 million. It seems like you only get involved with lotto plays, in this case, the Powerball, when the jackpot starts to exceed a certain number of $100 million. Now, in my case, I was enticed here. I started playing a few tickets when it was $400 million. And then what? Do you fill out your own ticket? Do you go with arbitrary selection? The likelihood of my numbers all being drawn seems to be Barry Blutarsky-esque, as apparently it is for virtually everybody, because nobody's hit this thing for 3 fucking months. It's unbelievable. And yet, you go to the window, and I don't know about you. I like to fantasize about what would happen. I actually ended up buying a house here in Fort Lauderdale in the Intercoastal yesterday, at least in my mind, in anticipation that soon the state or whatever it is, whoever runs this thing, the Lottery Commission, would be writing me a check in excess of several $100 million. Not close. Now, I'm sort of thinking I have no shot because of where I'm buying my tickets. If I was smart, I mean, it's always some hillbilly on the panhandle that ends up winning this kind of phenomenal gambling accomplishment, and copying. I mean, it's a several lifetime score, get out money, and would be a life changer. I'm not one of those people, as much as I enjoy doing broadcasting and have over the years, that is committed to the idea that, well, I'm not going to change anything. I'm coming to work tomorrow. Get the fuck out of here. So, yeah, I already had some fantasies about how it was going to go when I won the money. And now what happens? I mean, you talk about being hooked in. Can I not buy a ticket on Wednesday night? Because nobody hit the Monday night Powerball. It's going to be $650 million. Even after they rape you for like half of the money and then you have to pay taxes on the rest, it's still good. Mark Cuban said that he would take the annuity and take the full amount and let them pay you out. I mean, how ridiculous is that? You finally win something impossible. The Irish sweepstakes was easier to hit than this. And as evidenced by the size of the jackpot, that seems to be a frequent occurrence. So it's rarely hit. And yet, I mean, they have to do this to you. They're going to tax you on the money and then take a rake of like 50% or more when you could hang in there and I guess get this money over a long period of time and get the full amount. But the problem is, I don't have that much time. So I don't know what you would do. I'm inclined to say, well, whatever, even if this had happened 25 years ago and you happen to hit the lottery, I'd probably taking the lump sum payment and just seeing how I can fare from that point on and letting the powers that be kind of rip me off and take half the money right out of my pocket. But anyway, now I'm compelled to buy more tickets on Wednesday. I think I'm going to drive out by Alligator Alcatraz here, somewhere in the Everglades, and find some Native American smoke shop where I can buy my lottery tickets because it's usually some obscure place. It's never some guy. I guess, yeah, you've had guys hit in New York City. Have we had people hit in Los Angeles? With the history of the lottery and the number of drawings, somebody had to hit in some major places. But it always seems like it's some remote region of the country that ends up establishing and producing the lottery winners. So I'm thinking I want to go to a really rinky-dink store. If you're buying it at the local supermarket, how many people lifetime have won? Probably, as I said, close to Plutarski numbers, 0.0. All right, interesting situation yesterday. It happened, and maybe the approach. It'll be interesting to have some athlete get up at a press conference one day, and this could have been Yannick Sinner yesterday. Yannick Sinner, the number one men's tennis player in the world. He's in, we were talking about it with Mike yesterday on the program. This is a tournament director's dream. What do you want to see happen? You want to see on the men's side, you want to see Yannick Sinner mow down all of the competition, maybe in the kind of fashion that he did, where he made it look relatively easy, and then a somewhat vulnerable Carlos Alcaraz, the athletic splendor that this guy displays on a regular basis, makes any match he's in exciting. He could be playing the ball boy, and it would be exciting. And so these two have battled. They're number 1 and 2 in the world. It seems like every final, all roads point to Sinner versus Alcaraz. And while Alcaraz had lost a couple of sets in the tournament and probably was a deserving underdog, and you were getting plus 140. We talked about this on the show. So you're betting Alcaraz at plus 140, thinking I'll put a small amount of money just to have some interest in this match beyond the natural being a tennis fan, watching the amazing athleticism. And I mean, if you play, I played in the Alzheimer's Cup last night against my 74-year-old friend who is mobile. And pretty soon he's going to be rolling around the court on a dolly. I mean, this guy's knees are shot. Jim Otto, I think, was in better shape from the standpoint of knee flexibility and maneuverability, range of motion. And you're thinking, at what level of this game are these two guys playing at? It's unimaginable that you could ever get to this level and play like that. And they've sustained it over 5-hour matches at different times. So everybody's looking forward to this. You want to have a little bit of stimulation. So I take a shot plus 140 with Carlos Alcaraz. We recommend that to you guys out there. And then a situation occurs where you watch the first game and you're thinking, something's not right. Yeah, Yannick Sinner blow his service in the first game without really putting up even a semblance of a fight. And all of a sudden, it's 5-0 Carlos with 3 breaks in the first set. Sinner barely scoring a point, not moving, just looking like he's completely uninvolved. And he eventually sits down and retires. Now, the question would be this, and it would be interesting if in the post-game press conference he said, you know what my real debate was? I had to decide whether to go out there or not. In general, as a sports fan, don't you admire the guy that goes out there and gives it a shot? Who knows? Maybe he gets a couple of lucky breaks and He's trying to put points away quickly, fires a bunch of howitzers out there as he's capable of, scores early. And look, you're talking 2 out of 3 sets. Sometimes you get a second wind or whatever it was that was bothering you before you started playing. No longer is a hindrance or an impediment. But that didn't happen. So what was it more noble? I mean, from an athletic performance standpoint, you're thinking very nobly went out there, gave it a shot. From a betting standpoint, I mean, and when are we going to have this press conference where a guy defaults in a situation like this and says, look, I know a lot of people had money on me at minus 175. So I decided that since I wasn't anywhere near 100% and felt like I would not even be able to start the match successfully, much less finish it, that I decided not to play and let my backers get their money back. I think we're a long way away from that day ever happening, but you would have had to have felt badly. I mean, while you're applauding the guy and his character for going out there, giving it a shot, hoping that maybe he could make it through somehow, even though he wasn't feeling well. Never really did disclose exactly what it was. Said he was feeling ill, that he had felt ill the previous day, and thought he might get better overnight, but didn't. But with the money that's riding on it, and then look, that people are. I'm going to encourage you to bet some tennis today. Yes, in this sort of newfangled formula they have for mixed doubles at the U.S. Open, which oddly is being contested today and tomorrow, and involves, and I kind of like it because my theory about mixed doubles is that you should never, ever, especially if you're in any kind of a relationship with the woman that you're going to be playing with, never play mixed doubles. It is the ruination of all relationships. Well, we'll get to that. But the format here, they have all of these superstars teaming up. Now, some of the teams have changed a little bit, but you can bet this stuff. It's a bit of a cockamamie format. I believe they're only playing 4-game sets and no ad scoring, which means you don't have to win the game by 2 points. And I'm not sure exactly how they're deciding the match in doubles competition, where they go to 6 games. And they do, I believe, have the no ad scoring in all doubles competition now at the ATP level and the pro level. Then they go to a 10-point tiebreaker for the third set if it's even up at a set apiece in a 2 out of 3 matchup. I'm not sure exactly how they're deciding this. So you're betting. I mean, here we recommend that you never bet on preseason football. You're sort of betting on an exhibition. I'm not sure how these guys will approach it. I think all of these players are of the sort of competitors that when they get out there, and even though they might be fooling around a little bit because it's an oddball pairing, you have, for example, the lovely Emma Raducanu, the British young sensation who's coming back this year and making a nice return to her form that she exhibited when she was so young and full of promise there, winning the U.S. Open. And then kind of fell off a little bit, battled some injuries. This year she's having a nice season. Was just in a bloodbath with Arina Sabalenka in a tournament, I believe that was in Toronto. And really played an extremely tough match against the hard-hitting number 1 women's player in the world. So she's teamed up with Carlos Alcaraz, number 2 player who just by default beat Sinner in a mismatch that probably shouldn't have been played. But and this is the kind of pairing you have. So how seriously are these guys taking it? You're getting odds on this, and it's interesting to have the opportunity to bet on it. So I'm trying to figure out who are really the better doubles players, because a lot of these top-notch singles players don't play a lot of doubles if they play at all. And so I would think the edge would go to any team. Would it be more likely? I mean, most of the men I don't see as doubles players. Djokovic, he's not playing a lot of doubles. Medvedev, I don't know that I've ever seen him play doubles. Rublev, has he played doubles? Taylor Fritz, he's not involved in doubles tournaments. Ben Shelton. I've never seen Ben Shelton. He has, I think, played a little bit of doubles, but and he seemed to have a very sort of just happy-go-lucky approach to that as compared to the intensity it displays when he's playing singles. So maybe an opportunity here to make some money. We'll get into that. I mean, if you've ever played mixed doubles, it's a disaster, an absolute disaster. Because if you're paired up, let's say, with your wife, for example. We'll make it easy. And you got another couple on the other side of the net, and you all play tennis, and you decide, hey, why don't we get together, play some tennis, and then we'll go have lunch at Galuppi's afterwards, and we'll have a nice afternoon. And it ends up being awful. First of all, you end up hating the other couple. And then, I mean, it's impossible to survive a mixed doubles match. If you're playing with your wife, she's going to blame you for everything that goes wrong, even though you may be the better player. In my case, I introduced her to tennis, and I would win every time we would play. I mean, if we were playing each other straight up in singles. But yet, for some reason, in mixed doubles, and maybe this is indicative of how it is in the relationship in general, she's the boss, right? She may as well be George Steinbrenner shouting instructions to you as, are you going to go for that ball at the net again? I had it. So you end up in just a bitter argument with the person that you're in a relationship with. And then if you decide to switch sides and say, hey, why don't we change it up? The other team wins 6-1 and you're thinking, let's change it up. Well, I'll have a better match. And then you get this. So you'd rather play with her? It's like trying to answer the question, who's she? Well, when a woman sort of notices you either eyeball somebody or somebody comes over, says hello to you, another woman, and then you get that very curious look. And the question that no man can answer is, who's she? Just a girl I know. All right, so let's get to the action here. Mixed doubles today. And for the tournament, I have a 20-1 shot that I want to play. There's some rationale behind this. All right, so you have the team of Caty McNally, an American girl who has won a couple of rounds here and there playing singles. So she does she has expanded her play to the point where she's become a more competitive singles player. Always great as a doubles player. Caty McNally, and might call her a doubles specialist. That's possible, but she has made some advances in singles, and she's playing with the young dashing Italian Lorenzo Musetti, who has a brilliant singles career going. Maybe not at the top upper echelon level, but pretty darn close. He's right there, top 20 guy, and capable of beating anybody on any given day. And he just was in Cincinnati. I think he paired up with Sonego, another young Italian player, and they either won or made the finals in the doubles competition. So here's a team with two dynamic doubles players, or two people. I'm not sure what level of experience Musetti has. I know McNally's been in doubles a substantial number of times that I've seen her, and they're 20-1 to win it all. There's some illustrious names here, so they would probably rank. Certainly, McNally is far less known than many of the other women that are involved in this thing, including, as I said, I mean, you have a team at plus 750 of Raducanu and Carlos Alcaraz. Question is, who's really going to be taking this ultra seriously? There's money on the line. I think they put up enough money to entice these guys to play. It's an interesting thing. There have been some complaints in the tennis world that the actual mixed doubles people, this is their one chance to make some money when they're in the slams. And there are probably some excellent teams out there that are comprised of people that you aren't familiar with because they're not prominent in singles on the tour. And so they're complaining that, and it's legit, I guess, that these people are coming in there. It's kind of like that whole scandal where the elite were paying people to get their sons and daughters into colleges as athletes on scholarships, even though they didn't play the sport. That was going on for a while in this case, and the big thing was, well, you're depriving some deserving person of a chance to say go to USC. In this case, yes, these are they depriving these deserving mixed doubles teams who toil in obscurity and barely are able to scrape out enough money to travel on a tour, their chance to make a couple of $100,000. I don't know what the prize money is for mixed doubles, but has to be substantial in any of the Grand Slam tournaments, including the U.S. Open. So they might have pushed them out of there, but it certainly is made for something interesting. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I know I'm going to be tuned in. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dough on McNally and Lorenzo Musetti at 20-1 people to win the whole shindig. And then, of course, they're playing today in the first round. And they go against, and think about this. I mean, talk about big names. Naomi Osaka, who's mounted a decent comeback after all of her mental issues, and then pregnancy, and she's played and acquitted herself very well this year. Hasn't won any championships, but playing some good hard-nosed tennis. Does play doubles. And Gael Monfils, the long-standing Frenchman who everybody loves because of his exciting athleticism. Still competitive, although I'm thinking McNally and Musetti destroy these two. Today being the better doubles combination. You do have to lay 160 to win 100 on that. A little bit prohibitive there. I don't know if I'm inclined to go too heavily on that, but if I was betting, since I think they have the chance to win the tournament at 20-1, how can you not play them today? Should Sinner have gone out there, or should he have capitulated? When is that going to happen, that press conference, where an athlete says, I had to think about the people that were wagering on this thing, and if I went out there at like 30%, I knew the likelihood was I wasn't going to be able to finish the match, so I decided to default to save my backers their money. How richly applauded and resoundingly applauded would that athlete be? And I think it's a situation whose time may have come, because it was a shame to see Sinner go out there. All the credit in the world for giving it a shot, thinking he might get lucky, but or find some miraculous recovery in the sweltering heat and humidity of the Cincinnati Monday afternoon, but it wasn't to happen, and we made money on it, but a lot of people probably got buried. So that's the way it goes. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll do it again tomorrow. Getting closer and closer to college football. We'll have some opinions on that throughout the week as well, as you have week 0 with people looking at this. I'm not sure how marquee of a matchup it is, but a lot of people looking at Kansas State, Iowa State as at least a meaningful first 0-week game. And week 0 usually produces a big fat 0 in terms of excitement, but this slate is expanded, and we'll get into it as the week progresses. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I'm Jeff DeForest, and hoping you have some luck today. Let's go with Musetti and Caty McNally, the American, and let's win it all at 20-1. With that, we'll see you next time, next edition of Bury Your Bookie.